Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Michael Voris. Fetal cells add to flavors. As if killing them weren't enough, now aborted baby fetuses are being used, get this, to flavor food. LifeSite News reports that distributor giants PepsiCo, Kraft, and Nestle have partnered with a biotech company to employ deplorable methods using fetal kidney cells to better food flavors and reduce their MSG, sugar, and salt content. You're hearing this right. While the biotech company Synomics is said to be the innovator, the executive director of Children of God for Life points out, quote, they could have easily chosen COS, monkey cells, Chinese hamster ovary cells, insect cells, or other morally obtained human cells expressing the G protein for taste receptors, end quote. Children of God for Life, a watchdog group that monitors the use of fetal material in consumer products, calls on the public to boycott the product of these companies and says contacting them can be very convincing. To find out information for Pepsi, Nestle, and Kraft, click right over here. Expose mammogram scam. Planned Parenthood's claim to fund necessary health services like breast exams and mammograms specifically is nothing but a bold-faced lie. The pro-life group Live Action has released a video study that exposes 30 Planned Parenthood clinics across the country, without exception, to be completely deficient of any service even related to breast cancer prevention. A staff member at one clinic admits, quote, we don't provide those services whatsoever, while yet another clinic says they don't even own mammogram machines. The video was made in response to the president of Planned Parenthood's recent claim on the Joy Behar show that defunding the death agency would make millions of women, quote, lose their health care access, not just to abortions, but to basic family planning. You know, mammograms, end quote. If you'd like to view Live Action's video study, just click on the link right over here. Another one bites the dust. The pro-life Attorney General of Michigan has put a Detroit area abortion clinic in his crosshairs for not being properly licensed. The state's lead attorney has filed suit against the clinic following an investigation proving the clinic guilty of not adhering to standard regulations. The lawsuit also follows official complaints that the clinic owner, Dr. Alberto Hadari, neglected to report sex abuse and performed an abortion against the will of a pregnant mother. The doctor has also been involved in at least 3 abortions resulting in the death of his patients. Stay with us, back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
CatholicUnderground.com, the podcast about our Catholic faith and new media.
Defrocked priest cries defamation after being ejected from the priesthood last year for sexual abuse. A prominent former New York priest is suing his accuser for sullying his name. Charles Kavanaugh was accused by former seminarian Daniel Donahue of molesting him in a motel room on a Right to Life march in D.C. in 1973. In the lawsuit, the former priest points out minor inconsistencies in Donahue's testimony of when the abuse took place and claims that it is all lies, asking now only for a jury trial. Kavanaugh's case was reviewed once by the USCCB, the U.S. Bishops' Conference, in a preliminary investigation of the Archdiocese of New York, and twice by the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith before disciplinary action was taken. And lastly, major reform for Ireland's schools. Ireland's education minister has formed a blue ribbon panel to examine how the nation's primary schools can be moved out of the control of the Catholic Church. About 90% of Ireland's primary schools are currently administered by the Church, with plans to cut that figure to below 50% by January of this coming year. Catholic Church leaders have indicated a willingness to cooperate with the study, but question the reality of reaching the goal of transferring 1,500 schools in less than a year. The Catholic Schools Partnership will soon release its own suggestions for a more gradual transfer, with an emphasis on preserving the rights of parents to choose the appropriate education for their children. I'm Michael Voris. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure and check out the Vortex today, where we discuss a blueprint for rescuing the church. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure and tell your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.